But the first movie ever made from one of my books, Carrie, also really worked well. And another thing that they have in common is in both cases, the film departed significantly from the book.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Stephen King reactions to Stephen King movies.
We made you!
For this list, we're looking at the times this master of horror was horrified, or perhaps delighted by adaptations of his work. You may not like his endings, but we hope you're familiar with them. A spoiler warning is required here.
You, want me to sign it for you?
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
Let us know below if you agree or disagree with the man himself. Number 10. Firestarter. Plot is the good writer's last resort and the dullard's first choice. Those words by Stephen King imply there's more to a great story than just the surface narrative. According to King, that idea backfired during the production of 1984's Firestarter. Though the scenario remained basically the same as the novel, King commented negatively on the film's nonsensical special effects. He likened the film to, quote, cafeteria mashed potatoes, and thought that young Drew Barrymore's hair, constantly blowing in the wind, looked silly. He's also noted that Zac Efron's performance in the 2022 adaptation was a refreshing upgrade. It seems there's more to the recipe for great horror than just following a plot. Just ask Gus Van Sant about that.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Number 9. Pet Sematary. So, you've decided to bury a loved one in a graveyard that's notorious for supernatural resurrection. How could that go wrong? King considers Pet Sematary to contain some of his most macabre material.
I finally came back for you, Rachel. I'm going to twist your back like mine, so you'll never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed again!
He actually penned the screenplay as a means of improving the story. King liked the end product, making a cameo and commending the performance by Herman Munster himself, Fred Gwynne.
Maybe with more time, she'll learn what death really is, which is where the pain stops and the good memories begin.
He was much more exclamatory about the 2019 remake, commending its, quote, grown-up nature. King even supported the film's decision to change the cemetery's unfortunate victim.
She doesn't want me here.
No. Mommy just needs time.
It's okay. I don't want her here either.
He reasoned that the story still achieved the same emotional impact, like taking Route 301 to Tampa instead of Route 17. We guess there's more than one way to reanimate a cat, so to speak. Number 8. 1408. Whether he's stuck in a time-traveling hot tub, John Malkovich's mind, or a haunted hotel room, John Cusack just can't catch a break.
You're losing the plot.
1408 ensnares him within the latter setting, as he portrays fictional author Mike Enslin in this film translation of King's short story. Cusack is a fan of King's work, which possibly helped motivate his electric performance in this critically and commercially successful adaptation.
I can't talk you out of this.
I think we've reached an understanding.
Very well.
The feeling may be mutual, as the novelist himself called the movie, quote, terrifying. King confessed to the New York Post that 1408 met the standards of his writing, something he claims doesn't happen very often. Cusack even hinted that he'd be interested in continuing the story. Mr. King, if you're watching, how would you feel about a sequel? Number 7. The Mangler. Director Tobe Hooper, author Stephen King, Buffalo Bill, and Freddy Krueger sure sound like a Fab Four of classic horror. When they're compacted together by a possessed laundry machine, not so much. Hooper, previously responsible for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, guided Ted Levine and Robert Englund through this unintentionally cartoonish imagining of King's short story. In his book, Stephen King Goes to the Movies, the eponymous writer selected the Mangler as a victim for criticism in one of the book's prologues.
I know how you feel. Seen that machine? Makes me sick to my stomach.
In it, He wrote that the Mangler is, quote, a mess, and theorized that the story got lost in the, quote, copious amounts of steam generated by the film's mechanical star. For King, the clunky production just didn't clean the stains from those dirty sheets.
I've got a big load of sheep coming within the hour. Now get a move on.
Number 6. The Green Mile. If there were ever a man destined to make Stephen King's prose into great cinema, it's Frank Darabont. Their first appearance on our countdown chronicles John Coffey, a wrongly convicted man whose execution left no tear duct undrenched.
Can I get a deal, Mr. Jangleson?
It's yours, John. You can do with it as you please.
You might not think of pitching a movie about a death row inmate to the Hallmark Channel, but that is exactly how King sees The Green Mile. He quips that it's, quote, a little soft, and the first R-rated production fit for the feel-good greeting card company's Hall of Fame.
Look, boss. It's Cassie, the lady in the rocking chair.
A self-confessed sentimentalist, the horror writer was blissful about Darabont's interpretation of his work, and we can happily add him to the many fresh vegetables on Rotten Tomatoes' 79% consensus.
He kill them with they love. That's how it is every day, all over the world.
Number 5. It. The novel It wasn't inspired by coulrophobia, a fear of clowns. Rather, it was King's exploration of the journey from childhood to maturity that shaped the story of 7 friends from Derry, Maine.
Oh, no, Bowers? He's always after us.
I guess that's one thing we all have in common.
Get home, school! Welcome to the Losers Club!
Despite subterranean expectations, King was surprised that his novel's conversion into the 1990 miniseries efficiently handled 1,100 pages of source material effectively.
Don't you want a balloon?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers. My dad said so.
Very wise of your dad, Georgie. Very wise indeed.
His expectations were even higher for the 2017 reimagining. The wordsmith admitted he was unprepared for, quote, how good it really was, expecting audiences to genuinely, quote, care about its characters and feel productively scared for them. Also a fan of Chapter 2, King noted that the newly added suggestion of romantic love between Eddie and Richie was, quote, genius.
You're braver than you think. Thanks, Rich. Ow, sorry.
He seems to feel that director Andy Muschietti raised his Losers Club well. Number 4. Maximum Overdrive. From behind the typewriter to behind the camera, King made his directorial debut with Maximum Overdrive. Questionably classified as comedy horror, this tale of cosmically animated evil machines frequently makes so bad they're good movie lists, including one of our own. The project was a regret for many, including star Emilio Estevez, the critics who saw it, and one injured cinematographer. King is most apologetic of all, calling it a, quote, moron film and admitting that the driver's seat in his brain was operated by a chemically altered state of mind. He never put on an auteur's cap again, but he did manage to work in a deliciously entertaining special appearance. Check and see if it made our top 10 epic Stephen King cameos video.
Honey, come on over here, sugar buns. This machine just called me an asshole.
Number 3. The Mist. Imaginative fiction is a tricky beast to conquer, not unlike venturing into a murky mist that's teeming with interdimensional monsters. The most dangerous part may be crafting the ending, so you'd think that Stephen King would be hesitant for a director to change one of his. Not so. When Frank Darabont helmed the movie version of King's novella The Mist.
They're dead! They're all dead!
The spectacled storyteller feels that Darabont usually delivers something, quote, extraordinary from his work. The Mist, The Green Mile, and The Shawshank Redemption all earn that stamp of approval. King declared that Darabont's revised fate for these particular main survivors was, quote, shocking.
We gave it a good shot. Nobody can say we didn't.
Nope. Nobody can say that.
We won't reveal it here, as the author insists anyone who spoils this climax should befall an equally morbid fate. Number 2. Stand By Me. Does anyone have friends like the ones when they were 12? Stephen King sure hasn't, as this contemplative line ends Stand By Me, a film that King assures us is autobiographical. The coming-of-age drama recounts 4 childhood friends as they search for a missing body. According to King, the body part of the account is the only element that's fabricated.
Yeah, we can even be on TV. Sure, we'll be heroes. Yeah.
Director Rob Reiner's Stand By Me brought its novella's creator to tears. He was so touched upon seeing this authentically moving portrayal of his own life that he hugged Reiner after the screening.
He said, "This is the best movie that's ever been made out of any of my works."
Stand By Me is Stephen King's favorite Stephen King movie, and it is slotted as the most positively uplifting King reaction on our countdown. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Shining. At last, we reveal the capital offender, and it's Mr. Kubrick in the hotel with the motion picture camera. If you know anything about Stephen King's feelings towards his movies, you've heard that he detests Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
How do you like it? How do you like it?
Though his dislike may be exaggerated, King does vocally disapprove of some significant characterization changes. Specifically, he's addressed an absence of a character arc in Jack Torrance, and a helpless, misogynistic portrayal of Wendy Torrance that doesn't reflect the woman he created.
Open the door! God damn it! Let me out of here!
King did find some Shawshank-worthy redemption in Dr. Sleep, Mike Flanagan's adaptation of King's Shining sequel. The spirit of a story and not its plot is what's most important to Stephen King. And we hope for future adaptations that can get it right.
The movie has to capture some of the spirit of the writer's heart and mind. And if it doesn't, generally speaking, what the reader went to the book and found and loved, the movie audience won't.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.